Here is Edward Bear, coming downstairs now. Bump, 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 on the back of his head, behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs. But sometimes he feels that there really is another way. If only he could stop bumping for a moment and think of it. And then he feels that perhaps there isn't. Anyhow, here he is at the bottom and ready to be introduced to you. Winnie the Pooh. When I first heard his name, I said, just as you are going to say, but I thought he was a boy.
So did I,
said Christopher Robin. Then you can't call him Winnie?
I don't.
But you said...
He's Winnie the Pooh. Don't you know what "the" means?
Ah, yes. Now I do, I said quickly. And I hope you do too, because it is all the explanation you are going to get. Sometimes Winnie the Pooh likes a game of some sort when he comes downstairs. And sometimes he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening...
What about a story?
said Christopher Robin. What about a story? I said.
Could you very sweetly tell Winnie the Pooh one?
I suppose I could, I said. What sort of stories does he like?
About himself, because he's that sort of bear.
Oh, I see.
So, could you very sweetly?
I'll try, I said. So I tried. Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, about last Friday, Winnie the Pooh lived in a forest all by himself under the name of Sanders.
What does "under the name" mean?
Asked Christopher Robin. It means he had the name over the door in gold letters and lived under it.
Winnie the Pooh wasn't quite sure,
said Christopher Robin.
Now I am...
said a growly voice. Then Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the stairs and thought to himself. First, he thought this, and then he thought that, and then he thought another thing. And when he had thought for a long time, he said that what he thought was this.
What about lunch?
He went out into the forest to see if he could find something to eat. And as he walked along, he sang a little hum to himself. It was a hum that he hummed whenever he was waiting for something to turn up. And it went like this.
Tra-la-la, 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 rum-tum-tiddle-um-tum.
As he hummed this hum, he came to a place in the forest where there was a large oak tree. And from the top of the tree, there came a loud buzzing noise. Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think. First of all, he said to himself,
That buzzing noise means something. You don't get a buzzing noise like that just buzzing and buzzing without its meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise. And the only reason for making a buzzing noise that I know of is because you're a bee.
Then he thought another long time, and said,
And the only reason for being a bee that I know of is making honey.
And then he got up and said,
And the only reason for making honey is so as I can eat it.
So he began to climb the tree. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed. And as he climbed, he sang a little song to himself. It was something like this.
Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder why he does.
Then he reached a branch, and he reached a branch, and then he reached another branch, and suddenly he reached the top of the tree.
Ah,
Said Winnie the Pooh.
if only I hadn't.
He stopped and tried to think what it was he had done wrong. And then he thought another long time and said,
If only I hadn't climbed this tree.
He was now stuck.
This is a funny thing.
Said Pooh.
I know it is a funny thing because this is the first time I have ever been stuck in a tree, and I don't remember ever being stuck in a tree before.
So he sat there, and he thought, and he thought, and he thought some more. And then he thought of Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin lived at the other end of the forest, and Pooh walked over to see him. Well, he didn't exactly walk, because he was stuck. So he waited until Christopher Robin came to him. Christopher Robin looked at Pooh.
Pooh,
He said,
what are you doing?
Honey.
said Pooh,
Are you sure?
Well,
said Pooh,
I thought I was, but now I'm not so sure.
So Christopher Robin climbed the tree and pulled Pooh down. Pooh fell with a bump and landed on his head, which was the only place he ever seemed to land on. Christopher Robin laughed. And that is how Pooh and Christopher Robin began their adventures together. Good night, and sweet dreams.